had to go and find the men's room, which belies often said that is a female feature. Will has just proved that is not the case. So, the motion before us tonight is that an arts degree is a waste of time and money. Now, could I please have how you voted on the way in? Someone could bring me the results before we start. Have we got that? We'll get it in a minute. Where is my huge team of assistants?
The women in the audience will forgive me. The men in my own age bracket will understand.
Yes, as usual, Will speaks for himself. On this. So, the motion before you is an arts degree is a waste of time and money. We have three speakers on either side. To open this debate for the motion, please welcome journalist and broadcaster Katie Hopkins.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you all for coming this evening. Just on a point of detail, of course, women in the audience don't forgive Will, and I certainly don't. So it's been a bit of a week for me. Google's most hated woman. If you Google most hated woman in Britain, I come up. Which is unfortunate, isn't it, when you have Myra Hindley and others out there. I think they're lost our sense of perspective slightly. I order copies of the week, and I'm not particularly fond of it when copies of the week arrive on my doorstep with the most hated woman on Britain on my doormat. I disapprove of that. My sister, it's my birthday, my sister sent me a birthday card, and sweet sister, and she crossed out the word sweet. So it's been quite brutal. And then Lord Stern got in on the act, because he heard about our little rabble here. And Lord Stern said I was utterly stupid. Utterly. He said the British Academy need to feel that I need to widen my concept of economic value and the ways that value is created, because I disagree with this notion. I'm called horseface quite a lot. I accept that. I accept that. It's a bit like Big Nose. There's some things in life you simply can't refute. But Lord Stern said I've created an artificial horse race between people that like the arts and don't. I guess that's a scientist trying to be funny. But I think Stern is missing the point, because whilst berating my Sun columnist and reality TV star arse, he really rather forgets that I actually love the liberal arts. I love arts. Where would we be without arts? Where would we be without creative sparks, pondering life, looking out of a window? We would be a dragon without a den, a head without a master, a druggie. And history teaches us to learn from our mistakes. And I like to feel that I've learned from mine. Sorry is one of the words I use most of all. Harriet Harman would do well to spend some time with me, I think. My love for Boris is unending. I talk about it regularly in the hope that he might realise one evening. I read the papal texts in Latin because I hope that reading his tweets in Latin will save me a place in heaven. I believe that when I see Peter at the pearly gates, I will be sexually cleansed because I read the papal tweets in Latin. So, I love the arts and the liberal arts. But I think to use the liberal arts, we need to be equipped. You know, if you hold an SA-80 and fire it on automatic, that's a gun, girls. That's the kind of lexicon, that's the kind of verbosity that you need to use in creative education. But like skiing, so many of us can only ski maybe, a blue run, a green run, a black run. You need to be able to intellectually off-piste ski to be able to use the liberal arts in the way that they were intended. I say most of us as if we are representative here, but of course 2/3 of us are only averagely intelligent enough to maybe read The Guardian, maybe understand how to work Yo Sushi, maybe meet kind of, I don't know, middle management level at the BBC, but we're not representative here. Now do please play along with this panto of mine. Can I just get some hands up for any Sarahs in the audience, and promise not to pick on you? Laura's, Benjamin's, George, David, Sebastian, Otis. There must be some. Now, hands up, Tyler. Hands up, Chantel. Hands up, Chardonnay, and hands up, Destiny. And no. And my problem with liberal arts as a degree is that most of us are thick. 20% of this population have an IQ lower than 85. That's the kind of IQ where you can't recognise your own reflection in the mirror. It's the sort of IQ where you think a food bank means a free meal and free money, where Argos is your John Lewis. I work with these people in Luton, and it's fantastic. We take in hairdressers, we take in people that want to do catering, we take in builders, and we work with them. They work in the salon at the college, they work in the catering department, they work in the restaurant, and in the holiday times they go into business, and they work with businesses that I find for them, and by the time they leave that college 2 years later, they go into a job. If you ratchet that up a few notches to the University of Albany in the States, which I love, they recognise that this year we will need 2 million nanoscientists. So they have built a college of nanoscience with £7 million of private sector and public sector money. 250 large global corporates are working with those students, and when they leave, they will go straight into a job. We need to rebrand graduation to transition and recognise that we no longer have the luxury of liberal arts, because I am paying. 50% of students will never repay their student debts. 386,000 of you are out there that owe money. I grimace visibly at students in the street, in case you are one of them. Half of those kids out there owing a cool 5 billion will never be found. We don't know where they live. They are on the runs. If they were Irish, we would give them a letter and a get out of jail free card for life. In 30 years' time, we will pay for the privilege of Chantel and her tutu in social sciences that's doing nothing. The head of UCAS says, follow your heart. Jesus, it's all very well, isn't it? I followed my heart to marry my first husband, and look where that got me. I was divorced in under a year. Can you imagine the humiliation of my parents? He looked like Ian Duncan Smith, which is all very well. He did look after my welfare for a bit, but he also led it with a younger, better-looking secretary. Do not follow your heart. Follow jobs. Religiously publish the top 12 professions for employment and encourage our kids to go into those. Follow jobs, not passions. I think 90% of students into a job within 6 months is a good quantitative metric for the sort of education we should be encouraging students into. When I do the school run in the morning, I talk to my children. I say, look, you need money. How are you going to get money? You need a job. What will be a great job to go into? One of mine wants to be a paramedic. One of mine wants to be a doctor. She'll never make it. One wants to be a teacher. I explain to them that money matters, because if you want to get away from your mother, you're going to need money. Now they're 985. But what matters to me is that they know already when they go to university, if they go to university, they need to move to a model that's representative of our modern economy. It is medieval that we still teach students at university campuses. It dates back to the days when books were expensive and we needed to share a common space to share the books and have lectures. That's a nonsense in this digital economy. Books are no longer expensive. It makes no sense to have masses of people in a lecture theatre unless you're coming out for a job or anything like this. Now, Lord Stern and his cronies can pontificate about the value of art degrees till the climate does change, and by God it's not going to. But the reason that business administration is such a fantastic degree is that students hit the ground running. It's time we stop yearning for noble pursuits in life and recognise you need a profession. We need students with savoir-faire, not a CV. Follow your head to university. Follow your heart to love. Don't marry a man who looks like Ian Duncan Smith. But if you're too thick to recognise your own reflection in the mirror, then come to Luton and I'll sort you out.
I can actually just tell you how you voted on the way in. It was for the motion 30, against the motion 177, and don't knows 52. So there's a fight to be had here. To open the debate against the motion, please welcome a prolific author and the headmaster of Wellington College, Anthony Self.
I'd like to thank Katie very much indeed for that hugely entertaining and riveting speech, and I was stuck about whether she was on your side of the house or on ours, so I'm going to read the motion out, which is: an arts degree is a waste of time and money. Now, this is too serious. I would say that you could almost go home, because it is clear that an arts degree is not a waste of time and money, but this is too serious because there are many people, 3 people over there, who passionately believe this to be the case, and we cannot let this happen because many people in government, many